On this episode of Tips from the Top Floor, Francois wonders about how Lightroom presets make sense, and we'll have a deeper look at how I use them. And Dave has a few questions about the photos that we have up on the villa walls, so I will take you on a little tour. This is Tips from the Top Floor for Thursday, September the 7th, 2017.
Tips from the top floor, tips from the top, alright, from the top floor.
Hey and welcome, this is Chris Marquardt. You're listening to Tips from the Top Floor, the longest running photography show on the planet. And so on and so on and so on. I'm a bit of a different episode today because this is pre-recorded. Well, okay, every podcast is pre-recorded, but this one is pre-recorded a week in advance because Monica and I are on vacation, like a vacation, not a photo tour vacation with like work around for me. No, we are up in Norway, Lofoten. That's where I've been last year with a group, and where I'll go again next year with a group. I believe at this point it's already sold out for 2018. But I like it so much there that Monica and I decided to go and do a vacation up there. Just the two of us. And that's awesome. So yeah, we're probably enjoying ourselves at this point. I'm pretty sure we'll be online though. So you might see some photos and stuff if you follow us on Twitter and on Facebook and so on. Because of course we are planning to take the cameras with us and do photography up there. Or at least a bit. But it's not even photography center. It's just us enjoying ourselves. There will be some Zodiac rides, and there will be some hiking, and there will be some exploring, and hopefully some northern lights up there. Because it's not the midnight sun as last year. It's the midnight night. It's like the proper day and night there. So we're looking really forward to that. So as I said, it's a prepared show, and I will answer two questions. One, just a regular question, and then one a bit different.
Hello, Chris. Question about Lightroom presets. That seems to be a feature that is used quite often. Actually, I wonder what the purpose is of these presets. Normally, what I try to achieve when I take pictures is to get them straight directly from the camera, meaning that I cannot understand really what the purpose is of a preset that you would kind of apply to a whole bunch of pictures. The only reason I could think of is that either you were wrong with some setting, like all the pictures that you took in certain circumstances were all overexposed or underexposed. Then you create a preset to correct the whole batch. But in fact, in Lightroom, you don't even need to use presets for that. You have that kind of, what is the name again, that capability to copy the settings. So it would be interesting to elaborate a bit on that. I would appreciate that. Thank you very much, Chris. Bye. Okay.
Well, first of all, there are more than one ways to get to a result in Lightroom. Lightroom that's one of the things that makes it a bit confusing sometimes, because they can be done in so many places. And you will see presets in many places within Lightroom. There are import presets, there are metadata presets, there are export presets, there are all sorts of presets. And they can be applied at different points throughout Lightroom. And a preset, of course, is a collection of data or editing steps that you could apply to the picture in one click. That's why it's a preset. Now, for me personally, I, for example, use what's called a metadata preset. That includes the IPTC data for me. That's my name, my copyright info, the contact information, stuff that whenever I take a picture, I want to be part of that picture. And then whenever I import photos, I apply that metadata preset automatically during import, and I will even adapt those for different photo tours. For example, to include some default keywords for that location that I'm at, and then every time I import, that will be added to the picture. I assume you mean presets to change the picture, to edit the picture, to change the colors or the contrast or the white balance. Those can also be applied at different locations in Lightroom. You can apply them during import, which means let's say you want to make the same change to all the photos you import. And it does make some sense. We'll get to that in a minute. Or you can later apply them in the develop module. Like if you want to apply them selectively to just a bunch of photos. As an example, you might have a high contrast black and white preset that you want to apply to a series of street photos. And if you have a preset for that, you can apply that to, 500 photos with one click, instead of making those changes to one picture and then selectively copying them over to other photos. So the presets are there to make your work faster and to simplify repetitive tasks. Now, you can also selectively apply presets, and not as to a selective amount of photos, but what's in them, because you can select what this preset will influence and what it won't. Let's say let's say you have a preset that does two things. Drop the highlights by 20% and bring up the shadows just a little bit. That's a kind of adjustment that is often used in high contrast photos that are taken during direct sunlight. And if you find yourself doing that same kind of edit over and over again, like you import 300 photos, you've taken them during bright sunlight, and that's the change you make to, hey, why not just use a preset for that, make it easier, and especially in the future if you want to do that again. And if you import, the next time you import an entire card full of photos that have the same light situation, it might make a lot of sense to apply those settings right during import using that preset. Let me say a quick thank you to our sponsor, Canvas People. You know how much I love to travel. I'm out traveling to Norway as we speak. I'm already preparing for a tour in October to Bhutan, and 2018 is already planned out with some 5 photo tours. And of course, I bring a ton of photos with me, and some of them I'll want to print, even some from my cell phone. Now, instead of letting that beautiful photo you took rot in your cell phone, you can bring it to life with Canvas People. CanvasPeople.com is a really easy to use photo to canvas service that takes your favorite photo memories and turns them into beautiful artwork for you to enjoy every day. Hang them on the walls of your home, office, or give them as a gift. It's perfect for preserving all those family memories. Better yet, all canvases are high quality and made in the US with fast shipping and great attention to detail. And with over 1 million customers served, you can buy with confidence. Normally, an 11 by 14 canvas is priced at $69.99, but now for a limited time, you can get a free 11 by 14 canvas. You just pay the shipping. Simply use the promo code TOPFLOOR to take advantage of this offer. That's canvaspeople.com and promo code TOPFLOOR for a free 11 by 14 canvas. And I thank them so much for the support.
Hey Chris, this is Dave from Wyoming, Minnesota. I've been enjoying your podcast since about 2011. I love the easygoing style that you have. It's really easy to listen to, and I hope you keep it up for a long time. I've been trying, but having a hard time thinking of an interesting question for your show. So instead of a technical question, I was wondering if you would mind sharing a little bit about the photos that you have on the Viewfinder Villa walls. I'm just curious about what kind of images you like enough to hang up. Do you change them very often? Could you describe a few? How many prints do you have on the walls, and how many harmonicas? What's the largest print size you have? And by the way, what's the largest image that you've ever had printed, or that anyone has printed of one of your images? If this is too personal, I understand, but I hope it still qualifies for a sticker. I love your work. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks, Dave. Now, wow, that is a lot of questions, but not too personal. Don't worry about this. The villa walls. What's up on the villa walls in photography? I love this question because it's so non-technical. And anyway, we have decent wall space here, but there are not as many photos on our walls as you might think. And I'd say one of the reasons is that I deal with photography day in and out, and I don't really want that visual clutter on the walls. And too many photos, I think, are, well, too many for me. If you look at my photography, I love a certain emptiness in my photos, and I kind of like that around me so I can concentrate on the things. Now, that's slightly contrary to what I recommend to print more photos, but that is mainly because people usually do not print at all. So if you print a few, hey, that's already plenty good. Now, what kind of images I like enough to hang up? That would be pictures that mean something to me. That meaning could come from a lot of things. Maybe I connect with them because it's a specific experience. When I took the photo, I was there and something, it reminds me of something. Or someone who means something to me made the photo or the picture. Or what is in the picture has a meaning for me. They don't have to be my own photos. And so meaning, I think it comes down to meaning mostly. Of course, all the better if they're pleasing to look at, but that is not even the main requirement. If I change them very often, well, not really. I have a few that I've have had around for years now in our living room. There's a couple of photos that we haven't changed in a long time. I might move them a bit, but it's not too often. Maybe once a year I do some changes a little bit to freshen things up. Now, you asked me if I can describe a few, and of course I can. I'm actually going to take you with me, everyone, and let's just do a little villa tour. Let me take you through the villa, and let me start here in my studio, because in the back I have a cabinet with 3 photos on it that I just recently had printed, mainly to test out a printing service, and then they don't really belong to each other. They are actually 3 different kinds of photos. That one is a black and white, one is a color, and one is printed on acrylic, which doesn't go visually together, but I've still found them interesting enough to put them up there on the wall. Also because that back wall is also part of the set when you watch me on the Tech Guy radio show with Leo Laporte. That is part of the set now. Also have 2 pictures just standing here. They're not hung. I still need to find a place for them. I just recently tested out a printing service, and that there are 2 pictures that are just not hung up yet. There are more pictures that are rolled up, unframed, just the prints that are rolled up here on top of this cabinet here. That, my tastes change. So over time, I might just change things a bit around. Okay, studio door. Out on the door, I just have 3 little photos here, which they're just simple things I sent off from Apple Photos, and sent them off to Apple to print them. Little square format, put little double-sided sticky tape on the back and just put them there, because I like them. So it's nothing specific about them, just some nice photos. Out here in the hallway, there is this big photo of a fjord in Svalbard. Beautiful reflection on the top. There's some hills with snow and a very smooth sky, and then it reflects in the dark blue water, and it just reminds me of a very serene, beautiful scene. And that picture will probably be here for a few months. Then out here in the hallway, there's also 3 photos by Monica. One is framed. It's on top of a cabinet here, leaning against the wall. It's not hanging, it's just leaning. That's a photo she took, which is of I think it's a dancer in a shop window with a reflection. It's like kind of a 3-layer picture. I really love it. And then 2 Polaroids with an early Impossible film that we took at the last place we lived during an evening walk. And there's just, again, memories, stuff that is kind of important for us. What else? Well, down here in the hallway, that's about it. Now let me go over to the kitchen. There's not much here in the kitchen. Just on one of the doors, we have like little. This is an old house. This is from 1905. So in the kitchen, there are 3 cabinets built into the wall that have doors. So there are 3 doors in one wall, which we use to have like supplies. It's a kind of a pantry thing. And there are 3 photos of Monica. Again, little print that I just had Apple make and send me back. Nothing fancy. But of course, Monica is fancy on the pictures. So I love those and I put them up there. And we've had them here for probably over a year because they're just nice. That's what's up in the kitchen. Then there is a guest room. And the guest room has 2 photos that Monica took, 2 black and white photos. She had an exhibition at the place she works at, and it's photos that she has taken with a pinhole camera, specifically with the Marquardt International pinhole. And so that's large format pinhole photography. Those are 40 by 30 centimeters in size. They're framed, they're matted. And there's 2 of them. And again, they're kind of special. And then here's the living room. And the living room is a place that has probably the most wall space down here, but the least amount of photos. There are 3 pictures here. 2 pictures. Here's an old desk that I think it's my great-grandpa who made that desk, and his son and his son and his son, they all kind of used it, and now it's mine. And over that, there are 2 pictures 2 photos that were taken by a friend of ours who is an artist and who we went to the exhibition, and it's 2 out of a series of, I don't know how big the series is, but I think it was 12 or 14 pictures. And those were the 2 we bought from her, and they have a bit of a meaning. And then there's another one over here, which is not a photo, but it's a painting. And that painting goes back to a very specific time, because just a few months ago, there was our annual photo workshop in an old abbey in southern Germany, which we do once a year here around the Happy Shooting podcast. And there was this thunderstorm one evening, and I haven't seen a sky this amazing in a long time. It was as if the sky was on fire. So the thunderstorm was just approaching, and there were lightning, but in between there was this red-orange sky that was just mind-boggling, and it was a very special evening. And we were not the only ones in that abbey to do a workshop. There was also a painter's workshop. There were a group of painters who meet up there once a year, and they did their exercises. And one of the guys I've met for years and years. We've had these parallel workshops for years, and he's a guitar maker and a painter, and a really good one at that. And he painted a picture which is just that sky. So it's just orange, red, a gradient kind of thing. It's an acrylic paint with a black border around it. And when I saw this picture at the end of that week, it's almost done. It wasn't quite finished, but almost. And I looked at him and I said, you know what? This picture, I think we need this in our living room. So I bought it from him. And yeah, it's very connected to a specific time in my life and to a specific experience. Now, that was the ground floor, but there is another floor upstairs, and taking you with me. On the way up, there's a map on the wall, which is not a picture, it's a world map that Monica and I kind of used to put pins in where we've already been. So it's a little keeping track of the travel. And up here, there are some photos taken by Monica, and those are, I don't know, 10, 15 years old, some of them. and printed out on beautiful paper. They're all digital prints. They're all inkjet prints, but really, really nice paper and very geometric shapes. There's another one from a series that Monica did for another exhibition, printed on Barita type paper, which it's just amazing how black the blacks are on those. And those were analog photos on film, and she digitized them and then had them printed. And a lot of that is about reflections of adding multiple layers in photos. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And then there's one more room up here, which is the place, which is Monica's workspace pretty much. And we also hold the film photography workshops up here. And there are a couple of pictures standing against the wall, leaning against the wall, because this is Monica's space, so it's her decision when and where to put them up. So not going to interfere. But there's one thing up on the wall that is not a photo, but it's I don't know the term. It's one of those things. Do you remember back in the good old days? We at school we had these roll up maps and things that you would hang up in front of the class to explain something. Now there is one by an East German photo company by EXA, and it's the inner workings of one of their cameras. So this is, I'd say, 1 meter and 20 high, and it hangs off the wall, and it is an illustration of the inner workings of a camera. And I like that a lot. It's it reminds me of just my youth at school, and it reminds me of the time I shot only film, and it's just a good fit because we do hold workshops up here as well. So that picture, and mainly film photography workshops, so that's a really good fit for that. And that's the pictures in the villa. I think that's all there is at this point. And some of them are due to be changed. I'm just walking back downstairs. Old creaky staircase here. Oh, it's not too bad. And yeah, that's the photography in the villa. How many of those are Monica's? Well, the 2 in the guest room, the 4 upstairs. Yeah. Oh, but maybe a third, maybe a bit more, but we don't count. So that's that. The largest print size you asked for that is 120 times 80 centimeters. Right now, 1 meter 20 times 80. In feet, that's 3 feet 11 wide. That's currently the largest, and it's unframed. It's just printed on foam board. And the largest print that was ever printed of my photos was that was a panorama. That was printed on a big HP plotter, and that was 2 meters long. I've never had a decent wall space for it, and that's also from years and years ago. So now, at this point, I might just have other photos to hang up. So this is probably going to stay somewhere rolled up in a closet. And that was it for this episode of Tips on the Top Floor. Thank you so much for, how do you listen? It's a real good question. I don't really know. Could you go to the website, and is that where you click and click on play, or are you subscribed with a podcast client? And I do have some statistics, but that doesn't really tell me anything about you guys, where you listen to it and how. I'm curious. Okay. Here's what we do. This is an experiment. Let's see if this works out. If it's safe for you to do so, drop everything, not your phone. Use your phone to take a photo of what you see right now when you listen to this. Then post that photo to your social media, to Twitter, to Facebook, with the hashtag TFTTF right now. TFTTF, RIGHTNOW, all lowercase as a hashtag. And well, let's see. I'm curious. Take that photo, hashtag TFTTF right now, put it on your social media, and I'm curious what you see right now. I will do the same. I'm doing this as we speak, so you can see my this is my recording screen. This is what I'm seeing. Click right now. Very boring, but hey, let's try this, okay? Hashtag TFTTF right now. What a silly idea. Anyway, the food Slack challenge is still up. If you're not on the Slack just yet, it's free. All you have to do is go to tfttf.com/yslack, WHYSLACK. All the information is there. And we'll be happy to welcome you into our little TFTTF community with discussion channels about everything from gear to show and tell to challenges to film photography. It's awesome. And thanks again to all the supporters. If you want to find out more, go to tfttf.com/support. Music for the show by Jeff Smith, Silent Partner, and Hans-Peter Kegrud. Publishing by Release Pixie, Matt, Rafsitter, Armstead, Slack, Imitations by CIO Russ. And if you want to get involved in the discussion, tfttf.com/yslack. My name is Chris Marquardt. Follow me on Facebook and on Twitter at Chris Marquardt. That's Chris MARQUARDT. And of course, go out and take amazing photos. Be nice to each other. And happy shooting.